Hello, this video is about why working relationships, particularly collaborative relationships as opposed to sort of close team relationships, can go wrong, can malfunction. And I've got Hal Schroeder here with me, and Hal and I have been working on these kind of issues for a while. So we're going to give you 5 or 6 reasons why the relationships get into trouble, which you can analyze, which you can think through, so that you can diagnose any particular working relationship you've got that you feel isn't kind of quite right. So the first one is a very simple business case point, which is there's a lack of a prize. There isn't enough payoff for the two parties to be getting together and putting the time in to achieve what they think they should be achieving. This often happens, actually, when your boss or somebody higher up says you two should be working together. I'm sure there's some benefit to be gained from you working together, and you get together and you find it difficult to get clear about that benefit. But good collaborative relationships depend on a real pile of gold which can be mined out as a result of two people working together. How?
That's exactly right, Andrew. And I think it applies particularly if we have the sense that the other group, the other tribe, as it were, has got more, whatever this prize is, the other tribe is getting an unfair share of that cake. So we talk about tribal identity in a separate video, so I don't want to go over all that material again. Just to say, one of the things that we're hardwired as human beings to do is to think that our tribe is the best tribe. Nobody gets up in the morning and goes to work and says, I want to give my best to the third best organisation on the planet. We want to actually be working for the best organisation on the planet in whatever field we're operating in. And a second thing that goes along with that is that we're rather suspicious of other tribes, and there are very good evolutionary reasons for being suspicious of other tribes. In fact, children react much more positively from the very early days, as soon as they're born, to people who speak their mother's tongue compared to people who speak different tongues. So right from the start, we are geared to protect ourselves in this potentially hostile world. We're geared to be slightly suspicious of other tribes. So we need to be recognise that, and we need to be wary of what that brings, because often the other tribes are not ill-intended towards us. We interpret their behaviour as being ill-intended towards us, but in fact they're trying to pursue their own agendas, trying to work out how their agenda, their objectives are going to fit with our objectives, and often they're willing to negotiate around that and try to seek a way forward that's productive for both sides. Our temptation is to attribute rather ill intent to them, and this can trap us and make those relationships very hard work and very unproductive.
Good one. So we've got in our relationship diagnostic, is there a prize? Is the other person from a tribe that we're suspicious of? Because that could be, or they're suspicious of us, that could be undermining the relationship. The third is the nature of the relationship, the type of relationship. Now, this is probably easiest to illustrate when talking about shared services, because if you're in an operating unit and you're using a shared service, you expect that relationship to be one of them serving you. And if you're not kind of getting what you needed, they're going to be struggling to try and give you what you want. So a sort of customer-supplier relationship. But of course, the shared service people may see the relationship rather differently, particularly if they haven't been labelled as a shared services function. They may see that their role is to tell you what's right and what's wrong, or to give you guidance on how you should be behaving. So being clear about the relationship, whether it's a policy relationship or a shared service relationship or a championing relationship or other types, a close team relationship, is important to getting the relationship dynamic to work well.
And clearly an important part of that, Andrew, is this issue of trust. So there is a separate video on this, Covey's work on trust, which is very good. So I encourage you to have a look at that. Just to recap on this, Covey refers to these 4 cores of credibility. So integrity, intent, capabilities, and results. So just have a little look at each of those in turn. So integrity. One of my clients has an IT director whom she refers to as a good news bunny. So this is great right up till the last moment when we're expecting the release to be on the 1st of January, and lo and behold, the 31st of December comes and it's not going to be the 1st of January, it's actually going to be the 1st of March. Very, very difficult to trust somebody who actually is only willing to give you the good news. Part of integrity is actually doing what's difficult and challenging if we know that to be right. So there's something about integrity there. There's something about intent as well, and Andrew has emphasised this in one of the other videos. The point about intent is that we are very well attuned to understanding whether people actually have our best interests at heart or whether they're exclusively preoccupied with their own best interests. So we're very wary of people who we believe are pursuing their own interests to the exclusion of ours, and it makes them very hard to work with, and we're much less trusting of them. The third one is around capabilities. Clearly, we're interested when we're getting into a relationship with colleagues, or in a relationship with different tribes, as it were. We're interested in knowing whether those guys have got the capabilities of doing what they promise, whether actually technically they're capable of doing what they say they will do. And fourthly, we want this thing about results. We want people to take responsibility for their results. One of my acquaintances long ago actually went bankrupt, explaining to the world that he'd just been a bit unlucky in the last recession. Now, he may or may not have been unlucky, but actually I would certainly be very, very wary about going into business with him, because I can't be doing with somebody who's explaining near bankruptcy, or in fact actual bankruptcy in his case, through ill luck. Andrew.
Some very important areas of a relationship, the trust. The last part of diagnosing a relationship is to think about whether you have frightened the other person, or whether they have frightened you in some way. So here I'm talking about some primeval almost emotions that we all have about our interactions with other people, and whether they are transgressing something often in our unconscious that we value. And there's a model for this which is described in another video called the scare model, which covers 5 ways in which we can scare other people and therefore kind of get their brains to be feeling negative about us. And of course the same can happen to us. We can be scared by somebody else. You can take each of these 5 things and think through, is there anything I'm doing that might be causing the other person to be scared, or is there anything the other person is doing that might be causing me to be scared, even though I shouldn't be because they're doing it unintentionally. So, diagnosing relationships is really important to good collaboration. And to run through quickly, we've got size the prize, and make sure you understand what the prize is. Think about the tribe issues. Think about whether you are understanding the relationship appropriately and the other person has the same understanding of the nature of the relationship. Trust breaches. Think about ways in which you might be breaching the other person's trust, or they are breaching yours, and then if they're breaching yours, check whether your judgments are right. And then think through the scare model. Are either of you scaring each other in ways which are undermining the relationship? Thank you.